Hello everybody, Zero Cool here. We're going through another little video here, and it's a kind of an assumption here for it, but there are some characters that don't have a home. We know that. We know they don't have a home right now. We know a couple of them are getting a rework up ahead of time, and that is the two members of the A-Force, which is Captain Marvel and Jessica Jones. So we know they're getting an update. We know they're getting pushed through. That was said in the blog post last week, so they are getting a bit of a rework, which is nice to a point, because next we're getting Spider-Woman as well along with her, and Nico Minoru, which is going to go help. So it's a four-person team, but our two big ones are finally getting some type of increase to bring them up at least close to what the other characters are, and they're decent updates. You get with Jessica Jones some nice health there. It's 41% health, which is not bad at all. You get 21% for damage, 131% for armor, and Jessica Jones has one of the highest resistances in the game. So she's pretty intense on that. I think they did that beforehand. So even though that Jessica Jones here has one of the highest resistance at 14,000, she's still gonna get. She's not getting an increase in that part, but she is getting an increase in her other attributes, which is good, because her health is really nothing to be really just wonder at. Just go like, oh wow, great, she's got some health on it, but she can be a decent character. Now her abilities are pretty simplistic at that. She does get to attack the primary target and then do some bonus attacking too. And then each attack has a 50% to generate one ability energy for self or a random ally. So that's not anybody. That's not really that's just anybody that's on her team, any ally. So if you do use her as a fifth anywhere or as just another one, she's going to be able to be put on, and you can go ahead and gain ability energy, which is great, because ability energy, boom, more special and more ultimate attacks, which is what everybody wants to go ahead and try to do. Her special is clearing negative effects, and then clearing negative effects from allies, which they're not changing that. So it is that's a pretty good thing. So they're not trying to change that up. They are adding the defender. They got the defender tag there, but they're not adding the other one there. But you still gain. You're getting that A-Force ally, the tag on there, and then gain more energy. And then you're gaining. They're giving barrier for self on that. So when you look at that for her special is basically getting barrier self and all A-Force allies for 20%. Apply one defense up to a max of 3 turns to self and all A-Force allies, and apply immunity. So now her special is really gonna hit, which is perfect. And then her ultimate, basically, she just had attack the primary target for 400% damage, and then she gains 100,000% extra focus for this attack, just so that way she clears all positive effects on that target. Now she's going ahead and doing that with the adjacent targets as well. So she's given it's now basically an AoE attack, which is good, which is really good. Now her passive was just a few little lines there, but now she's actually getting some updates, which is great. So the A-Force team is basically getting a lot of health. They get health like crazy and armor. So gain 10% max health, then A-Force allies gain 10% health, gain 40% armor, and then A-Force allies gain 40% armor, and then gain 40% resistance. Defender and A-Force ally gain 40% resistance. So they're all getting a lot of resistance because of Jessica. And then on War Offense, since they are going to be a War Offense team, on spawn, fill speed bar by 5%, plus speed bar per A-Force ally. So that's pretty good. Since you got 3 other characters on the team, that's another 15%. That's 20% extra. They're going to go a bit fast. She's going to go a bit faster, which is kind of nice. Next, you got Captain Marvel. When she first came out in the game, she was basically a nuke. You'd look at her, you'd go, oh crap. Her ultimate would basically just silence somebody on the other team. She had one of the, it was basically just a nuke. That's what the community nicknamed it, and that's what she still was back then. But since with the recent, I don't know, push in humongous health pools, humongous damage compared to what the first few characters that did come out, she still can be some relevance now that they've actually given her some updates, which is just a little bit, but it's not a lot. It is a little. So they're giving her health 34%, damage 28%, armor 47%, focus and resistance at 16%, which is great. And the only thing that they're really changing on her, besides, you know, her stats, is her passive. Now, her passive was already looking like a small little, you know, page in a book. Now it definitely is a page in the book, because it just got a lot longer. And so while she's in binary, on the end of turn, attack all enemies for 150% damage plus clear all evade. So if anybody on the defense team got some evade, she's clearing it off. While in binary, in war, this is not just a war offense tag. It says war. Now it might change in the game. It might change in game when it finally comes down to it. But in war, if this character has 2 or more A-Force allies, this attack cannot be blocked or dodged. So, so when she attacks all the enemies there, they can't block it or dodge it. And then the two other tags that they're hitting on there: gain 10% max health, more max health there, and A-Force allies gain 10% max health. So more allies for the team. So she's really buffing up that team there, and she's really pushing it forward. So Captain Marvel, being the nuke that she is, she's a very, very strong character. She used to be one of the top ones, and now they're going to go ahead and push her not back into the meta, but really, really close. Really close. She should probably be up there with among the rest, but she's not really up there at the moment. These other 8 characters here, the reason I selected some of them was mainly because they really don't have a home. Bullseye does have a home, but he's not really utilized there. They used another Merc or something like that because it has more viability. Kingpin really does have a strong health pool when you max him out, but he has no armor, so he can take a hit for a little bit, but he's not as strong in this game as he is in the comics. He can pretty much beat most people to a pulp, and he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that here. Vision, Doctor Strange, Mordo. I see these 3 probably getting some type of rework after the next movie of Doctor Strange comes out. So more than likely, Doctor Strange and Mordo will get some type of team. We don't know what they're going to be doing, but you probably should focus on beefing up Doctor Strange. They might give him some extra here. They might give him maybe some extra type of attacking to something, because this is basically just flipping effects. It's no big. It was a big deal at first when there was only a few effects and stuff like that, but now it's not really being that much of a damage. And he only has 1 damage move, which is his basic. And the Book of Shanti, that's basically just reviving somebody and giving them some health back. So it's nothing big and powerful and strong. His passive is really not that big of a deal, so they might switch it up. They might add more to it. Same thing with Mordo. Mordo actually has more of a hit than most, because he could blind you, he could stun you, he gives you a little bit of damage, and with the too many sorcerers, he basically heals himself and the most injured, supernatural ally around. So he's got a little bit more viability than just Doctor Strange. But both of these characters probably should get beefed up before the movie comes out, because I got a feeling they're probably going to rework them, or they're waiting for their rework after the movie comes out. Namor, he basically was mentioned with the next Wakanda movie. So once the next Black Panther movie comes out, he's probably going to get a rework, because he's been listed as one of the antagonists in there. So he's probably going to get a nice little buff. So it'd probably be best to beef him up. The big thing about him really is his ultimate and on war offense. He reduces speed bar of all targets by 30%. As we know, this game is all about speed. So, boom, go right there and knock them all out there. Plus, if you go ahead and push up further, he goes ahead and reduces the speed bar as a total of 50%. So that's a that's a big plus. When you reducing speed bar, it definitely plays a big role. His other 2 moves are okay. They're not really that. Part of it is a little bit of piercing, but no big deal from his special. His basic does some piercing damage, but unless you're going to max him out, which most people have not, because they've left them kind of just sitting in the back, he doesn't really do too much for that. The other two here are She-Hulk and Psylocke. Now, I've heard rumors that She-Hulk is probably might get an A-Force tag because she really doesn't have a team. She's just around. She will definitely most likely get a rework once her TV show comes out, but we don't know exactly when that is. But they might go ahead and push her onto the A-Force team and give her some type of little rework for her, which is not bad. She is a decent character. She's a little bit of a pain when she's on the war side of it, because if you kind of get her closing to maxing her out above G14, G15, she basically gets some barrier and she just stays that way. And it's a pain to try to, you know, just go ahead and attack her and attack and attack her to get that actual barrier down. But she doesn't really have a home. And another one that really doesn't have a home is Psylocke. She does have the Uncanny X-Men tag, but nobody really uses her because there's no reason to. She doesn't really, you know, do too much with the other Uncanny X-Men. And she does have some viability to her because her basic is basically piercing damage, so she avoids armor, which is great. Here, more piercing damage, and she clears some positive effects, which is even great, and it changed to up to 3 targets. Her ultimate basically transfers negative effects from self and each ally to the primary target. Boom! And then some more piercing damage, which is great. And then she transfers 1 additional negative effect from self and each X-Men ally to primary target. So her passive is basically going ahead and evade countering, which is kind of like, she tends to evade, and she usually counters, which is basically a pain in the butt. And she does gain 100% resistance against disrupted. So she usually doesn't get disrupted right away unless you got massive focus. But right here, especially on spawn, always gain evading counter. So she becomes a little bit of a pain because she's just evading half the time. But nobody really uses her. She doesn't really have a home. And with the rumors of an Excalibur team coming out, I could see them possibly putting Psylocke there, giving her a bit of a rework, and making her again another mutant to look out for. But Vision, unless Vision does pop into the new movie of Doctor Strange, I don't see him getting too much play for the moment. There was words of a rework of the Power Armor team and possibly bringing them back into that fold and maybe giving the Hulkbuster out there or something like that. Vision is one of the most powerful characters in the comics. He did have some viability when he first came out. Now he doesn't. He's kind of just been left with power creep. His stats are really not that great, and beefing him up to max really doesn't really push it. But if they give him a rework, and if he does pop up in the movie, they might give him a rework and put him somewhere. He does have some synergy with Scarlet Witch, but I don't think they're probably not going to take those tags off. But I don't think you're going to see them too much together anymore because she's on the Darkhold team, and she's not really the weakest. But I have seen people take her off, so they might rework Vision. I would say probably get them up to at least get most of these characters at least to G13, possibly G14. I would say more so with Doctor Strange and Mordo, She-Hulk and Psylocke, and the more will probably be a if. And Vision, Bullseye, and Kingpin, they're really probably left in the dust because they really don't have a home. They're just sitting around. But you know, this whole list here, these whole 10 that I was looking at, they're basically just characters that don't have a home, that don't really do too much, and people have stopped using them unless they really just needed to go ahead and throw someone out there just to go ahead and, you know, take a hit or two and then just move on to the next. But the 2 characters that should be that should be go ahead and push forward is Jessica Jones and Captain Marvel, because next patch, A-Force comes out and boom, they're getting a health push like crazy. But hey, if you like this video and all, you liked everything you see, just go ahead, hit it down, hit the subscribe button some down there, hit the notification bell if you want to get notified for more videos, and hit that like button. Just hit the thumb. And till the next video, deuces.